Good morning, everybody. I'm Sam Furman. I head up the Salesforce Pardot team here in ANZ. Can I just make sure everyone's got their headsets on, ready to go? It's going to be an action-packed 35 minutes, and we're very happy to have you all here. Just want to start off by saying that anything you see here today in this session and other sessions, please make any purchasing decisions based on what's currently available. We may be showcasing some fantastic new features that we've got coming out on the platform as well today. So just please be careful of that. I just want to start to say thank you. Thank you to all of our customers who inspire us every day on how they use our platform. I'm very thankful myself for that. I've been with Salesforce for 4 years now. And to be honest, without our customer success, my career wouldn't be so good either. It's their success that makes us successful. I also want to share a special thank you as well to our partners who actually turn a lot of those initial discussions into reality for our customers. But mostly, and most importantly, our staff who actually work tirelessly every day to create these products that we're going to showcase here today. Salesforce, as you may already know, is very committed to doing work for the community. You'll see a few names up there that are mainly kind of US-based organizations, but I'm very happy to say that we're doing our part here in Sydney as well. A part of my team, every month we actually give back to local charities here. We did something recently for Too Good Food Company. We did Wesley Mission. I was also having a chat with one of the customers on the panel this morning who they provide the toys for the Smith family to give out packs for children at Christmas. And it was our staff that was actually building those packs. So it's actually all working together, not just in our Salesforce community, but with our customers to really help the greater good. So, the fourth industrial revolution. We've all heard Mark Benioff kind of speak about kind of the change, this fourth industrial revolution. But what does it mean for the marketers here today? Just quickly as well, make sure that you can all hear me. Show of hands. Who's a marketer in the room? Who's a salesperson in the room? Ah, you're all sitting together. Okay, this is interesting. We're progressing. So the fourth industrial revolution, what does it mean for a marketer though? Basically, it means how can we start to use analytics, to actually start to drive better decisions of how we engage with our customers. If you think about it, our customers have access to so much different data on so many different devices, but for a marketer, that's really great. That means we can reach them in a more personalized way every minute of the day. We also have better kind of now account-based marketing. We could start to use all of that data within our CRM to actually start to market out to our customers, again, with that kind of single customer view. This wouldn't really be possible, though, unless our Trailblazers were leading the way, and it's people like Kaylin from VMware who are actually adopting our technology and then actually trying to drive that out through their business into their customers. And I urge you all to become Trailblazers. Trailhead is a fantastic way to enable yourself on the platform. We have a number of trails that are relevant for marketing and sales. So please join our Trailblazer community as well. The big question, though, is why we're here today. So we want to talk about how marketing and sales can work together to accelerate pipeline. That's one of the most important things for businesses. But what we're finding is that marketing and sales are very divided. They're basically working on different technology stacks. They're working in silos. Sales don't actually know what marketing are doing. I was actually with a customer the other day, and I went and met with the marketing team first and the sales team second. And the marketing team said, oh, we're passing all these fantastic leads across. We're generating everything that we need. And then I met with sales, and sales said, those leads they're passing me are terrible. And I was like, this doesn't match up. So they're just working in those siloed areas. So what's happening is, basically marketing now, if you're not on the same platform, the analytics, you're not able to use the analytics, obviously, you're not on the same measurements. You're not using the same KPIs. You're not able to use artificial intelligence to start being smarter in the way that we work. We need to be smarter. Our customers are expecting that from us now, because if you're not doing it, your competitors are. And now we obviously need to, once we bring our customers on board, you've probably all heard account-based marketing now is obviously really the direction of businesses are going. It's just as important to retain our customers and grow them than it is to bring on new ones. So how can we identify what accounts are kind of where our greatest revenue streams are, and how can we drive some marketing into that? The answer if you aren't using Salesforce today, is the customer success platform. This is the single place where you get that single view of your customer, and marketing, sales, and service can all use that same data. It enables us to start using that analytics. We can start to collaborate with each other. And this is actually going to then start to drive those better engagements with your customers. Salesforce for B2B marketing, which is what we're going to kind of demonstrate through to you today, is really a fantastic way to help you find kind of more leads. How can we nurture those leads that aren't ready to buy? There's lots of stats out there that say that, that probably about 80% of leads that don't convert straight away will do something in the next 24 months. That was a stat from Serious Decisions. So how do we stay connected with these people during that time frame? How do we make sure that we can ease that burden on sales and make sure they're driven back into the sales funnel when they're buyer ready? Marketing, though, is actually, if you think about it now, if I look back 10 years ago, a marketer's role was very kind of the top of the funnel, driving quality leads into the funnel. And then over time now, we're actually seeing marketing influence closing deals. So what we're able to do is actually see that progression through the pipeline and start to market to those customers to help sales close deals and take them through the buyer cycle. But most importantly, marketers are now able to actually see the return on investment on their campaigns and their efforts. Who spends like lots of money and doesn't actually know which campaign is generating the revenue? Let's try and move away from gut feel and move towards more data-driven decisions. I'm extremely excited to announce this part. I'm very lucky to do it. If you're not already aware, there's a lot of new features that have come out in our recent spring release. But one of the ones that really interests me is Pardot is now in Lightning. So for the first time ever, if you're a Salesforce customer or not today, you will be able to access all of your campaigns, your email templates, your nurture journeys, do all your segmentation, all in the one CRM platform. Just let that sink in for a sec. That's like mind-blowing. That's awesome. And not only that, on that same platform, Salesforce are using all that customer data that you're bringing in to have better conversations with their clients. Now, another thing that you've probably heard talk about is Einstein over the last year or so, since obviously Salesforce has released Einstein Analytics. Pardot now is working with Einstein to create even better scoring. So now that we're actually overlaying that kind of artificial intelligence data, the predictive data that we've got within your CRM, with behavioral data, with Einstein, those customer engagements to make an even better score. That is so powerful. So we're not just being reactive to what's happening in the system, we're now proactively trying to score our customers with Einstein also. That's enough from me at the moment. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to invite up Kira and Christine, who are going to walk you through a demonstration of how VMware use Salesforce to kind of accelerate their pipeline. Welcome, Kira, to the stage. A round of applause, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we're going to talk about VMware and how they use Salesforce for B2B marketing, which Sam just did a great job of giving us an overview about. Just to anchor us, before I just show you a lot about Salesforce, we're going to talk about how VMware is finding and nurturing leads, how they're closing deals with their sales team, and ultimately maximizing ROI. So with that, Christine's going to help me, and we're going to dive into the demo now. So let's start from the perspective of the marketing team. And marketing has two goals. They want to generate pipeline at the top of the funnel, and they want to close deals with their sales team. So we're going to start in B2B Marketing Analytics here within the multi-touch attribution dashboard. And what's so powerful about this is that you can see how all of your campaigns are performing across every stage of the funnel. So Christine's going to click into the first touch model, and we're going to see all of the channels that work best at that stage of the funnel. Web marketing is performing very well, and if we click in, we can see that the paid digital campaign is the most successful. This is great because now I can start to use that information to plan my next campaign, and we'll get there in a moment. Next, I'm going to look at that bottom of the funnel. How is my last touch performance working, and which channels are working best there? I can see that events are really driving a lot of revenue, and that the executive event campaign is the most successful. So now I have my insights, and I can start to launch a campaign and actually work towards those two goals I mentioned earlier, driving pipeline and closing deals. So now we're going to jump into an ad that I've actually created, and we're going to push it through LinkedIn via that social channel with Ad Studio. And this ad is aimed to drive individuals to register for an upcoming VMware webinar, where our prospects can learn all about all the amazing products that VMware is bringing to market. When they hit this ad, they're going to be sent to a branded Pardot landing page where they fill out the information and register for the webinar. Great. So they've registered, but we can't just let them sit there, right? We've got to do something, and that's really where Pardot Engagement Studio and automation really comes into play. So in case this is new to you and you've never heard about Engagement Studio and one of the many studios that Salesforce offers, let's just talk about this for a moment. So Engagement Studio gives you a centralized canvas where you can start to engage and create personalized experiences for every individual that interacts with your brand. And all you need to know how to do is use actions, triggers, and rules. So what the heck does that mean, right? Actions are essentially where you're doing something, like sending a prospect an email. And then triggers are where you're listening for something. So has my prospect opened my email or clicked on a link? And then finally, rules are where I'm checking for something. So has my prospect already participated in a campaign, for example? Great, thanks, Christine. Okay, so we know how Engagement Studio works and how we can create those personalized journeys. So let's go back to what we were talking about earlier. We've created this LinkedIn campaign, we've had folks register and attended this webinar, and now we want to follow up. So here, we're going to send, first off, of course, a thank you email. Thank you for attending the webinar. And then we're going to check for something really important. We're going to look at title. We want to make sure that if any executives attended that webinar, like CIOs or CTOs, that they're going to get an invite to one of those strategic executive events we talked about earlier. We want to make sure that sales follows up and gets a chance to get in front of those key stakeholders. Great, thanks, Christine. Okay, speaking of sales, let's pop over and see how sales is actually interacting with all of this engagement we're starting to see and generate. So here within Engage Alerts, my sales team can see all of the engagements that every lead is having with those marketing campaigns that are running in market. And actually, I see that Dan Fitzgerald has really been engaged, and I'm going to go ahead and click into his lead record and check out and understand why he's a good lead. So here on the lead record, as a sales rep, I've got everything I need at my fingertips. And I actually can see that he's a really, really hot lead, and that's because Einstein is telling me two things. Einstein lead score is showing me that he has that fit. He's got that executive title we've been looking for. And from a behavior perspective, he's showing that intent to buy. He's starting to engage with my campaigns a lot more than other prospects out there. These scores are so insightful because now I can understand that fit and that intent to buy. On top of that, engagement history is right here via this Lightning component, so I can see all of the different things that Dan's done with my campaigns. He's clicked on that LinkedIn webinar page, he's checked out our pricing page, and he's doing all the things that we want him to do. So let's go ahead and contact him. We're going to do that right from the lead record with Salesforce Engage. With Salesforce Engage, my sales team has on-branded emails, and they can personalize them as well. So I know that Dan's attended that event, and he's also gone to the webinar, so I'm going to follow up and just see how his experience is going. And again, my marketing team's happy because I'm on brand, but I can also personalize as well. So that's great. We're going to hit send, and let's just say that this is a really positive experience. Dan's really, really happy. He's going to move forward with VMware and purchase that product. Great. So now marketing wants to check out how things have been going, right? Let's flip back to marketing and kind of start to see how our engagement has been going. Remember, we had two goals. We wanted to understand how we could generate more pipeline, and we knew that that paid digital ad was going to help. And we can start to see that engagement right here with engagement history. We can see that those form submission rates were really, really high. We've generated thousands of different individuals to start to learn about VMware. On top of that, Einstein is showing me that the engagement is really high and that that pipeline that we're generating is just going to continue to funnel through the funnel. Awesome. But what about our second goal? We wanted to make sure that sales could close those deals and that marketing was really doing their part. With the account-based marketing dashboard in B2B Marketing Analytics, I can start to track all of those top accounts that we're looking to go after as a joint marketing and sales team and see all of the opportunities within them. This way, marketing can check in. Are we doing what we need to do? Do we need to run more campaigns or more executive events? And sales feels like both groups are working together. So this has been amazing. Christine, thank you for driving this demo. What you just saw was the fact that VMware can find and nurture leads with Salesforce, that they can close deals together as a joint marketing and sales team, and they can also maximize ROI. So with that, again, I want to thank Christine and welcome Sam back to the stage. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Kira. I'll just welcome up our panel now. We have Andrew Savage, obviously from Criterion Conferences, Sarah Deere-Jones from Modern Star, and Connor as well from Cure Cancer. A round of applause for our panel today, please. I've seen a lot of demonstrate. Christine, that was fantastic. Thank you. And Kira, I love seeing what the platform can do, and it changes all the time, and it's super exciting. And I'm even more excited to hear from our panel today, though, who are customers of Salesforce and Pardot, real true advocates of sales and marketing working together. So without further ado, I'll let them introduce themselves. Andrew, if you could start introducing yourself, your role, and a little bit about Criterion, please.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you very much for having us here today. My name's Andrew Savage. I'm the Chief Sales and Marketing Officer for Criterion Conferences. Criterion Conferences is a B2B2C conferencing company. We operate across a range of sectors, including aged care, government, NFP, education, universities, fin services, and a few others. And we really tackle the key issues that are facing the leaders in those industries. We research the topics, we find the thought leaders in that space, and then we put together action-packed agendas which really help people to be able to learn how to deal with the issues they're facing and also to network within those environments as well. And in some instances, we put them in touch with solution providers.
Thank you, Andrew. Sarah.
Hey, thanks for having us. Modern Star is a distributor of educational products and resources with a number of companies under its umbrella and divisions. I head up the education division where we're selling educational resources to schools and early learning centres throughout Australia, New Zealand and Asia Pacific. And our role is really, or our mantra is really about enabling teachers to inspire the children of the future.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah. Connor.
Hi everybody, I'm Connor. I'm from Cure Cancer, and we're a not-for-profit that funds early career researchers who are looking at new and innovative ways to cure cancer.
Awesome. Thanks, Connor. Thanks everyone for the introductions. Andrew, I might start with yourself. Can you talk about some of the challenges that Criterion faced and kind of what you were looking to solve with Pardot?
Yeah, thanks, Sam. Look, I think the demo was actually quite interesting because we can relate firsthand to some of those issues that you spoke about there. Previously, Criterion Conferences had a bespoke CRM, and we also had a separate off-the-shelf EDM platform. As such, the two weren't integrated. We had a lot of instances where we had manual uploads and downloads using CSV, the issues that creates through duplications. We also had our sales and marketing channels really positioned as separate revenue channels, really, and that created a bit more of a competitive environment, and also really much more, as you talked to there as well, much more siloed and less in the collaborative space. So we really wanted to address that in terms of the overall digital transformation that business did, and in such by implementing Salesforce and Pardot, in essence really to create that single source of truth. Now, we managed to achieve that, we thought that would be the case, but what we didn't necessarily realise was how much closer it would bring the sales and marketing teams together. And really what we've seen over that period of time is that they become so much more aligned in terms of the common goal, and really the tech has really shown them the benefit that they can have from having so much more of a collaborative approach and that integrated approach, which, as individual teams they benefit from, but also as a business we benefit from as well. In particular, we've seen within the sales team, there's been really a newfound kind of appreciation for the role of marketing, in essence really because it makes the sales team's job so much easier as well. They now enjoy receiving their leads in real time. They have so much more insights about those leads, so they know who they need to target first, and also they get so much more engagement on what those contacts and prospects are about as well. The team absolutely love Engage. Kira demonstrated that as well, and it really is a very powerful platform to be able to see if you put a piece of marketing content out, how people engage with that. And also the sales team are empowered to send their own communications, and they can follow that through alerts as well. And there's nothing more that our sales team enjoy than when they send a one-to-one email out to an organization, and they can see it's being forwarded and opened throughout the organization, and they know that there's a lot of interest there as well. And then on the flip side, the marketing team, they're tirelessly working towards advertising campaigns. Previously, once it left marketing, that would get lost in the void of sales. But now there really is true end-to-end visibility and attribution and then lifetime value. So they can see which their leads are being targeted, and also if the sale is converted and they can track it back to their campaign in the first place, that's really fulfilling for them to know that it was their campaign.
Amazing. What an answer. I think Andrew should actually just have a round of applause for that. Thank you very much. Maybe you can do my presentation next time. Sarah, sorry, you need to follow that one. Tell us a little bit about the challenges you had and kind of the problems you're looking to solve when you purchased Salesforce.
I think you've covered most of those things. I think one of the different challenges that we have is we have a sales team of 40 plus on the road, and those guys don't really or didn't have visibility into what the marketing team were doing or what their customers were interacting with. So they would walk into their meetings or appointments and maybe not have known whether the customer had been interacting with what products on our website, what content that had been pushed out from the marketing team, or what emails have been opened. So now they're able to have more meaningful conversations when they're going into those schools or centres around what the customer's actually been engaging in. And I think Andrew touched on it as well, having a third-party solution prior to Pardot. I mean, we've been a Salesforce customer for about 8 years. Pardot was introduced about 2 years ago, so not having to download and manipulate data, and having account and contact data all synced to your marketing system makes it a lot easier to do personalisation and segmentation.
Amazing. Thank you, Sarah. And Connor, like for yourself, Secure Cancer, a not-for-profit organisation, really keen to see how that differentiates for yourself.
Yeah, like most of the other panelists here, we were doing a lot of manual manipulation of data. There wasn't one central source of truth. So with us and how we nurture our fundraisers, Pardot has been a huge help. It's enabled us to, with a small team that we have, to really engage each fundraiser on an individual level and really carry them throughout that journey. So we know that even though we might not have all the time in the world, we know they're at least getting looked after, they're being welcomed, they're being nurtured, and it's leading for us to deeper engagements with our donors and with our supporters, and an increase in donations as well. So Pardot and Salesforce and introducing them and syncing them up has really been, it's been like a game changer for us.
Wonderful. Yeah. Thanks, Connor. Now, Sarah, I'm going to ask you the second question first this time. Sorry, Andrew. But what are some of the innovative approaches you're making with Pardot?
I guess one of the biggest things that we've introduced in the last 6 to 12 months is those nurture programs, and using them for both new leads and also for disengaged leads. So, with the number of contacts or customers that we're working with, putting them through nurture programs and providing personalised content. And then once the customer gets to a certain level of engagement, letting our sales team know so they can actually strike while the iron is hot and talk to that customer in a reasonable time to make sure they can close that sale.
That's awesome. Thank you. Connor?
Sorry, what was the question again?
What are the innovative things that you've been doing with Pardot since you've obviously purchased it a few years ago?
Yeah, so we've had Pardot for 3 years now, and we've seen a lot of updates throughout the system. One of the innovative things that we get a lot of benefit out of is the nurturing studio, the drips, and also through dynamic content. So just having dynamic content in place within our emails allows us to really tailor it to their specific situation. Because we have a lot of people that sign up for different events and different fundraisers, and if we were to go in there and manually do all of that work, it would be a nightmare. So with dynamic content and the Nurture Studio, it really empowers us to know that they're getting the right communications at the right time, and it's led to better engagement and better donations throughout our business.
Fantastic. I wouldn't mind just asking one further question on that. What you mentioned, using dynamic content, your audience would be very vast. I mean, what are those kind of buyer types that you're dealing with?
So we deal with a lot of different fundraisers who try to set up. So obviously you've got your community events, you've got your corporate events, you've got your individual everyday person that wants to create a fundraiser. And then on the other side, you also have your donor. And the donors are split in a very similar segment. So you've got your corporate donors, your individuals, and then your communities that may just lump a bunch of money together and donate it. So for us, it's key that we can, through Salesforce and Pardot, segment out those lists and talk to each of them in a different way. Like we saw in the presentation, the ability through the nurture to really split off into that own separate communication channel and understand that they're getting tailored comms to their situation through both dynamic content and the engagement studio is really priceless.
Wonderful. Thanks for elaborating further. Appreciate it, Connor.
No worries.
Andrew.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. It's one of the big examples, achievements that we've had in the last 12 months is we've really seen the ability to supercharge our advertising effectiveness, particularly through LinkedIn. And we've been able to integrate our LinkedIn advertising direct into Pardot through Zapier, and for us that's been quite a game changer. We've been able to bring across leads now all of a sudden in real time through lead gen. As such then, we're able to communicate with them very, very fast, in essence in real time. We've been able to automate that whole acquisition and onboarding process so we can serve out additional content. If we see that the engagement continues, we can MQL them so much faster, send them over to our sales team whilst we know that they're quite hot, and that way they're able to really improve their advertising effectiveness and the conversion rates there as well. And the other thing we've seen is, I mean, there are so many tools that are available within the platform, and each of them are, they're very, very effective. And we use a lot of them. We've got the landing pages, forms, completion actions, automation rules, notifications. They're all very powerful in themselves, but it's when you use them together, that's when you really see the benefit of having so much more of a holistic view of your prospects. And you can really see that across email, website, paid, and social. And it really allows you to get a much more greater insight. And as well as that, it's actually in real time. So you know what's happening when it's happening. And if you then use that with notifications, it allows you to transfer that over to the sales team so they can certainly strike while the iron's hot.
I love that. And I might stay on you here, Andrew, because you're on the flow here. Can you just talk through some of the ROI benefits that you've actually seen then since you've actually put Salesforce in place?
Yeah, I guess immediately talking to that advertising piece I just mentioned, that since we've integrated LinkedIn directly with Salesforce, previously we saw our cost per lead was around about $250, $300, and we really didn't get that many leads, so the conversion rates are going to be a lot lower from that as well. But from that ability to automate the process, to be able to have a much higher volume number of leads come through and actually streamline the MQLing, we've seen that cost per lead has now gone from $250 to $300 down to $40, and an environment before where we were actually losing money on our advertising there, to now where we're seeing a 4 times ROI.
Wow.
So just that one alone has actually delivered a huge return in the last 12 months.
That's incredible, 4 times. Amazing. How about yourself, Sarah?
I guess there's a couple of different ROI benefits for us with Pardot. The first one is being able to measure the success of campaigns. We can actually directly attribute revenue to specific marketing activities and make decisions based on that. The other one is by having a synced system and a one single platform, it increases our efficiency of our team. So we're actually allowed to do a lot more. We can actually make a lot more content and push a lot more comms out based on having more time and things working much more seamlessly.
No problem. Just out of interest, what are those, no efficiency savings, what are those typical efficiency savings that you're talking about?
I mean, previously I think some of the panelists have said downloading and uploading data, having to check data because you're not sure that it's the correct data, and being able to automate and marketing automation. So, you set up your nurture journey once for multiple different segments, and you can kind of just adjust it as you go as opposed to having to do that every day or every week.
Yep, interesting. Thank you. And Connor?
Mine's much the same as Sarah. So we are a small organization, and so every headcount or resource that we bring on is critical. And what Pardot has enabled us to do is really make our existing headcount really efficient in how we use it. So there's no more manual manipulation of data. We know that once we've set up a nurture journey, it's going to run. No more bulk mass sending of manual emails. So it's made our workflows and processes a lot more efficient. It's also enabled us to really improve our email advertising and our email kind of call-outs. We've seen our donation rate through email increase by about 200% since using Pardot, and we've seen a greater click-through rate and engagement in our email communications. So the ability to really A/B test emails through the platform, effectively measure the results back of your campaigns and email campaigns is a huge benefit through using the system and Pardot.
Fantastic. And Connor, you're probably one of the longer-term customers sitting on the panel today. What's next on the horizon? I'm hoping you're going to start leveraging all this new stuff coming. But what's next on the horizon in terms of technology for Q?
So next for us, we really want to dive into Einstein and see the real-time information and leads that it can, and information that it can tell us. When you look and you see that your leads are being qualified automatically for you, it just streamlines the whole process. Like, this will mean that our fundraising team can now get a daily report of who's most engaged or who is more likely to donate, make a call to them, see what they're doing, and then really just action it out. And yeah, that's really the most exciting thing on the horizon. The fact that it's also within Salesforce as well just will make that experience a lot quicker and cleaner through Lightning.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing that journey come along as well and working with you further. Sarah?
I think what we're really looking forward to doing is integrating our Pardot into Lightning. So we're still using Pardot.com, so moving into the Lightning platform, as well as getting our heads around the B2B analytics. I know that sort of was released recently, and we haven't maximised that, so that's really where our next steps are for our journey.
I love that. And outside of that, Sarah and I are already discussing how we can work together to create an army of people to go and do some volunteering for Smith Family. So I look forward to that kind of evolving too. Thank you, Sarah. And Andrew?
Yeah, thanks, Sam. I guess similar to Connor, we're also interested in seeing how we can leverage more out of our data, particularly at a more granular level. You know, the ability to be able to get more out of intelligent automation, to be able to get those kind of real-time insights and create a more agile approach to the extent of what Einstein can do through kind of behavioral scoring is definitely something that we're quite looking at as part of the roadmap.
Very exciting. Well, with that, I just want to say thank you very much to our panel. I find it fascinating. We've got three very different businesses here. There's some similar challenges, but everyone's kind of using the platform in a different way to obviously engage with their customers and really kind of increase what they're doing at the moment. So I just want to say a very warm thank you very much for spending the time with us today, and a round of applause for our panel. Thank you. Just let you stay there for 1 sec. So we're nearly at the end here for this session. So all I want to say again is thank you very much for taking the time out of your day. But what's next? So if you're a small business here, marketing or sales, we have a small business camp area which is on the other side of the exhibition center. And there that you can actually book yourself in for a one-to-one consultative session. So you can actually start to have that direct conversation with a specialist who wants to understand your business, your challenges, and we can talk to you about how the platform can help you. In addition to that, as I said before, we encourage everyone to become Trailblazers. Please go to trailhead.com and start blazing trails. We've got specific marketing ones, as I said before, around Pardot and sales. And most importantly, please join our podcast, sign up for it, Marketing Trends. I listen to that every week. We've got some fantastic speakers on there on a regular basis. So again, I encourage you to do that. Two other kind of just logistical things. The keynote now is going to be upstairs starting at 10 o'clock. However, if you don't want to be rushing around, you can grab a coffee, and it also will be here. You can put your headsets back on because you look like you're all loving them, and listening to the keynote from this session. So with that, I just want to say thank you again to our panel. Thank you to our speakers, Kira and Christine, and thank you to you all for coming. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to kind of seeing how your Salesforce journey evolves. Thank you. Cheers.